dusty red hair, empty stomachs of children rounded to balloons. A vivid reflection of unfair runs around the gray roads on a hot day in June. The piercing cries of a baby echo around in the other room. In a packed hospital in Haiti, the lack of care is what lets pain resume. The foul stench of the open sewers flowing, clogging the noses of the hungry, fail to distract their preoccupation with hoping they can provide another meal for their kids' stomachs grumbling. Mothers who have walked for hours, with priorities to feed their families. Lethal Mother Nature still often empowers the violent river water, starving their children with apathy. The idea of third world poverty, in our heads the media is well encased, but of course you can never understand it properly until it stares you in the face. Haiti. My family first visited back in May in 2012. My parents, like they have in the past, felt a calling towards the country and the people they knew were in need, and with an impact still felt 2 years after the deadly earthquake that devastated the country in January of 2010, we knew there was still much aid the country needed. So, my father, my sister, and I flew to Jeremy, one of Haiti's most poverty-stricken regions. Here, through volunteer work with the non-profit organization Haitian Health Foundation, our eyes were opened to just what extent the people needed help. The project that stuck out to us was the need for a bridge in many villages that surrounded the city. Here, some 40,000 men, women, and children crossed the Grand Anse, a wide river, in order to retrieve food and other supplies and bring them back to their homes. The river grew to deadly heights and strengths, and many mothers and fathers had died crossing during these periods of high flow, leaving their children back at their village, hungering for food and wondering what had become of the parents. We knew something had to be done about this, but we also knew it wasn't going to be easy. There were many steps that needed to be taken in order to reach our final goal. First off, the right crossing on the river had to be found. Land ownership issues needed to be resolved, and the government had to agree and acquire the land. In order to begin construction, a bridge partner needed to be found. This ended up being the nonprofit organization Bridges to Prosperity. We needed the bridge to be designed, $65,000 to be raised, and hundreds of volunteers. Cables needed to be shipped, and finally, the bridge needed to be built. Through prayer and raw determination, a decision was made 1 year ago to just go for it. Everybody did their jobs and pieces started to come together. With donations from all over, construction was able to start in February of 2013. Excitement started to build throughout all the villages as two abutments started to grow on both sides of the river. The moment the cable started going across, hope rose as the river would in a storm. Now we're trying to do it all over again. Though the first bridge was quite an accomplishment, there is still much help needed. We have started planning for work on a new bridge, around 50 miles down the river, in order to provide further assistance for the 40 or so thousand people who need it. With your support, we can continue to help the desperate people of Jeremy, Haiti, and provide them with something to give them hope. In poverty's darkest grasps, sometimes all that is needed to strive onward is hope. Help us not only for a bridge, but help us provide hope, one of the most precious gifts you can give.
Querem ver